Hi, I'm Sulaiman Surani. Welcome back to my channel. And today we'll be creating guess the abbreviations IG filter. This is the one I actually created with the title tags, and it's going to flip, and there's going to be a countdown from 9 to 0 for me to guess the answer. So let's just take a look. Here it will count down 8. WTH, what the hell? Oh, yeah. Okay, so the answer will reveal once the timer reaches to 0, and basically we'll just have these assets. We'll have the title text, question, answer, the timer, and as well as the times up. So I have all these assets ready in PNG, and let's bring this over to Spark AR Studio. Let's jump straight to Spark AR Studio. At the moment, I'm using the latest version, which is 126. And as you know, if you're using the latest 126 version, we actually have to add the experiences into our properties. Here, I'm going to add experience. We have the option of adding sharing experiences, ads, and video calling experience. And I'm just going to focus on sharing experiences so that I can actually use it on Facebook and Instagram and make sure both are selected. Other than that, we are also going to add capabilities. We're going to add face tracker, something that we have to add manually now. Oh, I think it's actually face tracking. Add that in as well. Okay, and click done. We always have the error message, just close it. Just don't worry about that because we haven't added anything on the Apex editor yet. So actually, before anything, add any assets yet, let's just go through some of the assets that we have first because it's very important. So the first thing that I have is the title text. This is in PNG, guess the abbreviations. And I also have the times up image in PNG. That's going to count down from 9 to 0. And then after that, that's going to times up. It's going to appear. The timer graphics here, I have designed 9, 8, 7, 6, and so on. And I have renamed them accordingly. Now, this is very important because I've renamed them not according to the number that we see here, but I rename it according to the sequence that I want it to appear. This is important because otherwise our timer will not work. So because the thing is, for us, we see the numbers, but for Spark AR, we only read the index, which is the number itself. So it's very important for us to save according to how we want it to appear. I also have the questions. I have 8 sets, 8 questions in PNG, okay, and TTYL and so on. The answers must also be named accordingly. It has to be the same as the question, otherwise it's not going to be linked. So this is the answer to question 1, answer to question 2, talk to you later. So it has to link up to the question. So you have to save it according to the same number, yeah? So once we have the assets ready, let's bring it over to Spark AR Studio, and we're going to add a set and insert the 2 assets first, which is the title and the times up. Let's change the compression to none. Let's add a new object. We add a face tracker. Under face tracker, let's add a plane. And let's rename this to title. Add a new material. Material 0, rename this to title as well. And under shader type, has to be a flat. Texture, let's link it up to title. Let's arrange these accordingly. Bring it up, resize. Okay, about so. And let's duplicate the title plane and rename this to question. Add a new material. Rename the new material to question as well. Shader type to flat. Texture, let's insert a new animation sequence instead. It's not going to be a texture. I have 8 frames, so we're going to rename this to question. And I'm gonna set this to randomize because it's gonna appear at random. Right? So texture, new texture, and let's import all our questions that we have. I have 8 frames here. Okay, now if you like to use this graphic, you can download the graphics in the description box below. You can use it for your exercise. Just replace the image to your own. Okay, rename this. Let's call this to Q. Stands for question. I cannot rename it to question because the one is taken. So change the compression to none. And make adjustment to this one. Okay, like that. Let's duplicate question plane and call this answer. Okay, this answer sequences, create new material, and then rename this to answer as well. Shader type all to flat, texture, create a new animation sequence. So this animation sequence is not going to be randomized because the answer has to be linked to the question. So let's not click on the randomize. So going to rename this to answer. And under texture, add a new texture. And import all the answers, which I've also named similarly to the question. Rename this to A. It stands for answer. Compression, none. Don't forget this one. I tend to forget this. Change the compression. And also to take note is to keep your assets as small as possible. So I have all this in. Let's just duplicate one more. And we're going to rename this to timer. Add a new material, timer, shader type to flat, texture, animation sequence. Okay, it's not going to be randomized, yeah? So, and here, let's just rename this to timer and create new texture. Let's import all the timer that we have. Okay, remember the saving convention for the timer. Rename this. Okay, so it's a very good practice for us to rename all our assets, yeah? So T for timer, compression to none. So let's just adjust the timer. I'm going to make it slightly smaller. I'm going to push it to the side. Maybe this corner. Okay, we can always readjust that later. Okay, that's good. All right, let's just duplicate the timer plane. The last one, and let's call this time up. And a new material. Rename this to timeout. And shader type flat. We already imported the image earlier, so we're just going to link it up to times up. So the time is not going to change the position. It's going to be the same position as where the timer is going to be. So once we have all these assets done or arranged according to what we want, let's move on to the patch editor. I need a lot of space. Ignore all the error message first. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to bring in the camera into the patch. And click on the video recording and pull it out. And let's look for delay patch. We will just add all the patches here, and I will explain later. I'll do my best to do that. So under duration, I'm just going to put 1 second. There's going to be delay of 1 second. I'm going to drag the output of delay to not, and here I'm going to insert the title, question, answer, and timer. Click on visible. Bring all that in. Let's just rearrange first. We will need the title first. So let's just link the not to title. And drag the question. Link the delay to question. And output of delay, let's drag that out and look for another delay. Now this one I'm going to delay about 9 seconds. Okay, this is for the timer, yeah. So I'll explain that later in a bit. So let's rearrange this. I think timer will be at the top. Answer. Output of delay to timer. And output of delay to answer. So what happened here is that when the user click record, press record, it has going to be delay for 1 second to allow the user to read the question before it will start to flip. So after the 1 second delay, there's going to be delay further for another 9 seconds because of the timer. That's where the timer will appear, as well as it's not going to show the title, rather it's going to show the question. So that's basically how the arrangement is for this one. Okay, so delay of 9 seconds because of the timer. Okay, so if you decide to actually just have 5 seconds, then just set it to 5 seconds. Set it to accordingly, right? So after 9 seconds, 1 second, after 9 seconds is up, time's up, and answer will be revealed, will appear. So we've done with this first sequence, the first option. Let's focus on the flipping effect now. So we are going to have it flip. Let's search for runtime. Drag it out. And look for offset. Okay, so again, we're going to explain that later as much as I can and as best as I can. Offset, and pull out the offset and look for less than. Less than, I'm going to change the insert 3. And the output of less than, I'm going to look for loop animation. And the loop animation here, I'm going to set 0.02. This is the speed of the flip. This is personal preference. If you think that it's a bit too fast, you can change to 0.05. I'm always comfortable with 0.02. So I'm going to drag out the loop, pull out the loop, and link it to random. Okay, so I have 8 frames, total of the questions and the answer. So I'm going to change the number to 8 and range, link it to round. Output of round, I'm going to link up timer. Okay, not timer, sorry, question and answer of animation sequences, and click on current frame. So here, let's just put it right at the side. And I'm going to link up the round to question. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out round and look for delay. So here, let's check our work very quickly. And under the flip animation, the top part of this, the one in the center here is the first animation upon user when they actually press record. So at the top here is the flip animation. Random actually just check our work, delay, check question, will pop up. Okay, question will disappear. Link it to delay. We're going to change it to 7 seconds. Okay, the reason why I have 7 seconds is because I have 9 seconds minus 1 second that I'm gonna give for the audience to read the question, and then 1 second for it to flip and stop at a random answer before the user actually get to answer. So there's a total of 7 seconds. And I'm going to link this up. I'm going to link up my video recording. I'm going to drag it out. I'm going to drag it out and link it to my offset reset. Okay, so when I do that, a pulse patch will appear. So I'm just going to rearrange. I'm going to need a lot of space. So I'm just going to resize. I'm going to rearrange. So video recording to reset, pulse on and off. The output of pulse turn on is to reset. And I'm also going to pull turn on output of pulse, and I'm going to link it out and look for switch. Okay, and switch. And always take note that the pulse is going to link up to turn on and not the flip. So the output of pulse is to turn on. And from turn on, I'm going to link up my timer from the top and click visible, and I'm going to link it up. Okay, and from here, from the offset patch, from the output of offset, I'm going to drag out and look for less than. Okay, push that up slightly. Okay, to make way. Okay, so it's good to arrange our patches. In case if we make any mistake, we can always refer to it easily. So less than, I'm gonna pull up. Okay, we're gonna change it to 10. Okay, so total is 9 seconds. I'm gonna give extra 1 second, and I'm going to pull up the less than and look for pulse. From the pulse of turn off, I'm going to link it to switch turn off. Okay, so video recording to link to offset, and pulse will be created, and pulse will link all the way to switch. Switch will be linked to timer, and the offset I also linked up to less than of 10 seconds, and less than is going to link to pulse. Turn off of pulse is going to link to switch. Okay, that should work. So we have this so far at the moment. So we are left with the timer. So we have the flip animation at the top. We have the first revealing of the answer and the question in the center. So let's focus on the timer now. So to do that, we are going to focus on the first delay patch. We have 2 delay patches here. Let's focus on the first one. Let's click and drag the output and look for pulse. There's a lot of pulse and delay patches here. So the output of a pulse, turn on, drag it out, look for switch. And from the switch, okay, make sure it's also linked to turn on and not the flip. And the output of switch, I'm going to look for loop animation. And the loop animation here referring to the timer, right? So I have 9 seconds. So I'm going to change this to 9. Make sure the output of switch is linked to enable. Okay, and the output of a loop under progress, I'm going to drag out and look for frame transition. And okay, so again here this is referring to the timer, right? So I'm going to have 9 because I have 9 frames. And from here I'm going to link it up to my timer animation sequence. Click current frame. I'm going to push it to the right so we have enough space. And I'm just going to link it up. Okay, let's readjust again. So that's what we have at the moment. Let's just test this patch. Let me just double check my work very quickly. Yep. I'm gonna send this to my device. I'm gonna send this to my iPhone. Okay, so let's test it up. We have that, and if I press record, it will flip. Oh, the timer is missing. Okay, so the timer is missing. Let's take a look at. Okay, I think it has got to do with the layering of the timer. Let's go back to Spark AR and adjust that. So I'm just gonna arrange my timer. I think I need to put. I need to lower down. I think it's being covered by my question and answer. Similarly for the times up, make sure it's also the same position as the timer. Let's try that again. Okay, so it works now. Okay, now it seems better. It is G2G, got to go, and the timer will count down, so everything seems to work. Right, so let me know if you've enjoyed this tutorial. Do give it a try. Let me know if you have any issues, leave down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next tutorial video.